So, we already had the school festival to prepare for. However, another event has popped up, leading to Taiki's badminton team facing off against the same school that Yusa attends. Hello everyone and welcome to Anime Awakening, and today we're here to talk about chapter 52 of the Blue Box manga series, a chapter that I thought displayed Chinastu, Hina and Taiki in a very positive way, with each character getting their moment of magic within. So I want to start off with Hina's character, as I thought her character at the beginning was a little bit too happy, acting as if she's somehow better than Chinastu for expressing her feelings to Taiki already and wanted to rub it in Chinastu's face, as the overall vibe I got from Hina was kinda mean. Like, she was pretending to act friendly and polite, but at the same time, she wanted to rub that fact in Chinastu's face. But then, of course, her tone changed when Chinastu started to explain her current living situation. And of course, her grandfather's treatment. That sad face that Hina makes before running off could have stemmed from her realising that she's messed up and the fact that she's tried to hurt someone who's already suffering because of worry about a family member that could be in life-threatening danger. Or Hina could be genuinely sad/worried about Chinastu's grandfather, which possibly could allude to Hina having some untold backstory between herself and her own grandfather that we might be treated to later on in the series. However, there's no evidence to back that idea up, and Hina running away, it makes sense that she's realised that she's been harsh and that she's made a mistake. So that's why I think she's running away out of guilt more than anything. Now onto a slight theory about Hina, as I think she might cost Taiki his match at this practice event. We know that Hina wants to go and support Taiki, and Taiki really doesn't want her to attend, as he sees her presence as more of a distraction. But I think Hina will go and watch the match from the shadows, and then spot Chinastu, and out of jealousy, she'll make herself known, cheering Taiki on, and thus making him distracted and losing focus, ultimately leading to his own defeat. Which would then cause Taiki to, after the match, shout at Hina in private and say something mean along the lines of, "Why can't you understand? I don't like you. You know I have feelings for Chinastu. I don't want you around anymore. Leave me alone." Now, of course, if Taiki were to say something like that, it would be in a mean-spirited and mean tone. And it would come from a place of A, disappointment because he's lost a match, B, frustration because he knows Hina's feelings and Hina knows his feelings. But at the same time, this will ultimately lead to a break in their friendship for a short period of time. But it will give Taiki a chance to grow and reflect, seeing how his words have hurt his friend. And we get to kind of see the process of him trying to apologise to Hina to kind of get back into the friendship that they currently have, or they had before she confessed. So then, of course we had Hina acting bold and approaching Chinastu in the last chapter, but this chapter it was Chinastu's time to be subtly bold in wanting to watch Taiki's match. And this is kind of an example of Chinastu acting upon her feelings. It may seem a very small and minute, but it's still progress nevertheless. Plus, it continues to showcase that supportive relationship between Taiki and Chinastu. That line about wanting to watch your practice buddy when he's being fearless was absolutely brilliant. As that line right there could spark Taiki into more action, clearing the way and making some of that anxiety that Taiki is currently feeling disappear ever so slightly. It was a motivational and uplifting speech, and so too was his ending segment. It was very sweet, a little goofy, but it's just how Chinastu and Taiki are currently interacting, and I like this positive interaction that is being presented over the last few chapters. Now returning to Hina and Chinastu's conversation, this, I thought, was a very Chinastu-like approach. Now that might sound silly because I'm talking about the character, but hear me out. Chinastu pretended to be happy about what Hina was saying and sounded supportive of Hina doing what she was doing. despite of course us as the reader knowing Chinastu's true feelings about Taiki. But I say pretend because the last panel of that segment was Chinastu pondering in thought with a blacked out expression, telling us that those words that she may have said weren't true and what Hina told her did have some form of effect. However, if Hina's and Chinastu's conversation never happened, would Chinastu have been subtly bold in asking Taiki if she could watch the match on Sunday? So, inadvertently, did Hina give Chinastu a boost in her pursuit of romance? We'll have to wait and see. Now then, let's talk about the man of the hour, as it's time for some Taiki discussion. And this chapter gave a more vulnerable side to his character, as he battles with his anxious feelings. We see how Taiki has improved in his badminton skills, yet he still feels uneasy about something. I love how we see the stages of Taiki's emotions in this chapter, as he shouts at Hina for her saying some romantic stuff so easily, and this kind of act does showcase the feelings of embarrassment, surprise, and even a hint of anger. After all, we know that Taiki likes somebody other than Hina, and he knows that Hina knows that Taiki is interested in Chinastu. Taiki, in this conversation with Hina though, is already feeling nervous and anxious about something. So that outburst could have just been Taiki's way of just letting out some of those negative inner feelings that he's currently trying to deal with. Of course, it's not a positive way of doing that, but it is a result nevertheless. But then, of course, as we move and progress throughout the chapter, we see Chinastu talking to Taiki, and Taiki doesn't shout or act negatively towards Chinastu wanting to watch him play. Yes, Taiki does say it's not necessary, but in the end, he allows her to watch the match, which is something we don't hear him tell Hina, showcasing a difference in the amount of love that Taiki has towards the two girls. He clearly loves Chinastu more, which is obvious at this point. That being said though, it wasn't a complete acceptance from Taiki, as he did give off this slight vibe of dismissiveness, saying that he has no right to stop her. Possibly hinting at the fact that his anxious feelings aren't quite disappeared yet, despite the motivational conversation that him and Chinastu had at the end here. Now in the past, I have spoken about how dense Taiki can be when it comes to the topic of love, and the chapter does make some development in that department for his character, as he's starting to see some similarities between what Hina has been saying since she confessed, to what Chinastu is currently saying in this chapter, as he sees a few kind of overlapping things. So if Taiki was just a little bit smarter, he might be able to see that Chinastu has feelings for him too. Nevertheless though, overall this chapter was a very good showcasing for Taiki's character, and it does leave a bit of intrigue as to what's going to happen moving forward. Will he be the one to face Yusa? Will he beat Yusa? Or will that honour go to Haru instead? Because it did slightly hint at that with Haru's reappearance into the series. That cover image looked adorable for this chapter. Seeing Chinastu cuddling that teddy bear was damn wholesome. But it does look like she's feeling either sad or happily nervous about something. So I'm hoping that we get to learn in a future chapter what emotion she's actually displaying in that cover image. Or we might just have to think about it ourselves. The art style throughout the chapter was amazing. We had a lot of breathtaking panels and wonderful expressions on our characters that help to improve and showcase a story being told, making this chapter all the more enjoyable to read. So overall, I love this chapter and I can't wait to see how those practice matches go, and hopefully they are given the time to shine and properly kind of lay out the foundations of a proper badminton match. Kind of like what we got with Haru and his battle with Hyodo. That would be magical. Let me know your thoughts on this chapter in the comments down below. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, hit that like button, comment your thoughts, and subscribe if you haven't already for more Blue Box content in the future. Have a great day though. Alligator, matane, goodbye.